Okay, let's see if we can't jump back into sorcery here and continue on our saga that we left off on in the last video. We were heading out of the Cantapani village and into a forest that seems to be occupied by headhunters. So last we left off, I think we had a choice to make between which path we're going to take. There was a warning telling us that one of the paths is the wrong path, but it didn't tell us, it didn't really thoroughly describe what that all meant. So we got a choice to make here. Let's jump right into this. So we can either climb the Shanker Mines, or we can take the left path to over the Simsosa River, which I'm under the impression that this village might be the Headhunter village. So I think I'm going to take the climb path, and let's see where that leads to. Okay. The climb continues up the next hill for several hours, until you are not far from the top. Then, the faint sound of bustling activity reaches you. Tramping feet, grunting voices, and the clinking of metal against rock. There is something ahead, hidden by the ancient trees that line these slopes. I'm wondering if this is the headhunters that maybe they run these mines. We can keep to the path or we can follow the sound. If we follow the sound, I think we're going to get ourselves into some trouble. But it sounds more interesting than keeping to the path, so let's try to follow the sound. You leave the path and continue through the woods. A short distance onwards, you hide behind a tree and survey a clearing. A number of goblins are in the clearing, working at the mouth of an open cave. They trudge in and out of the opening, carrying large bowls in their arms, piled up with glistening rocks and dull metallic nuggets. So we can watch them work. I imagine leave them to it would probably be breaking away and getting back on the path. Or we can make a break for the cave entrance. I'm going to watch them work. I feel like we probably haven't really observed what's going on here long enough. You stay hidden, getting a sense of the scale of the operation. There are at least 30 goblins inside the cave, each coming out every few minutes or so with a new pail of stones. Then there are other goblins working in the clearing with hammers, smashing the rocks into small pieces, extracting metals from inside, loading them into carts, and finally pushing the carts away down a wide track between the trees. It is quite some operation, but not without its weaknesses. There are too many goblins to create any kind of distraction, but they move away into the trees fairly often, and sometimes the cave is left unguarded. You know, the smart thing would be to leave the mine, but I imagine that slipping inside the cave there might be something worth finding inside of there. Let me check my items real quick. We have the spellbook page that was given to us by the old man earlier before we enter the forest. We have some kind of blimberry juice, which I'm not sure what that is. And then we have 4 goblin's teeth and a giant's tooth, which we can use this to spawn enemies using certain spells. I think we have 1 ration. Let's see what we have for treasures. 17 gold pieces. Okay. And we also have just generally more teeth. We got some kind of bag of teeth from a merchant in the last town that we were in. Okay. I thought we had some kind of vial, but maybe we'll figure out what that is later. Okay, I'm inclined to try to slip inside this cave. It's probably not the smartest thing, but you know, like it sounds interesting. You creep closer, moving around the side of the hill, nearer to the entrance, nearer to the entrance to the cave. Then, when all is quiet, you seize your chance and race across the clearing to the mouth of the cave. This is kind of exciting because I just watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I have a lot of really strong seems like a mental imagery of the movie, which definitely connects really well with this game. You pause a moment at the cave mouth, but no one has seen you. Following the passage, following the passage cautiously, you move between the cool rock walls of the mine, passing and ignoring ladders that lead down into the clamoring heart of the mine, where 100 goblins sing as they work. Eventually, you reach a junction. Ooh. Do we go right or do we go left? I feel like this would be an opportunity to cast a spell, and I know we have one. Could probably cast How. The spell is to be used in perilous situations when information about the safest way of escape is desired. The caster will receive a psychic inclination towards one route or a means of defense if one is present. But it costs 1 stamina. Most of these spells cost stamina to use. I'm almost inclined to go left, but I feel like I always want to go left. Right seems like a shorter path. I don't know why this goes under the river. I wonder if we're gonna come across some kind of like underwater, some kind of like a river vein, like in the mine or something. Let's go left. You take the left passage. The passageway continues until you reach a large stone-cut door blocking your ways forwards. Let's try the door handle. I think we already came this far. Otherwise, the only other option we have is to go back. I knew it. I knew we were going to run into someone. You try the door. It opens. The room beyond is dirty with soot from the mines, so it could almost be a pit filled with night itself, with crystals in the rock for stars. In the far wall, you can just make out another door, leading deeper into the mine. But in the middle of the room is a table, at which a large, filthy goblin is sitting. He raises his head as you enter and smells the air. Perhaps he is almost blind from so long underground. Your smell is strange, intruder, he challenges. You are not permitted here. This is one of those situations where I'm inclined to try to negotiate my way out of a fight, but that doesn't seem to have been going in my favor generally playing this game. We can leave the room, we can draw our sword and see what they say. I'm almost willing to attempt to try to communicate, which I know is going to be a total mistake. This illustration shows that they might be missing a few fingers. I don't know if this is maybe like a elderly goblin or something. They look a little run down. Let's try speaking to him. This is gonna get me killed, but let's just try speaking to him. I'm a friend. Are you now? I'm not. The goblin rises to his feet. In his hand he holds a large stone club. Oof. This is just going to be a fight. Let's see what spells we can cast since we have some options here. I'll have to review the spell book. Okay. We have a few letters. ZTR. Okay, let's check the spell book. Ooh, let's see. ZTR. I've got a general feeling. So, Zap is a spell we could cast. ZTR. Let's see what T is. I think we have a few spells that might cause them to fumble. Or maybe not. Maybe we can cast some of the spells where we can spawn enemies. It doesn't look like it. Interesting. ZTR. Might be just, yeah, it looks like we only have the zap spell. Okay, I think we're just going to engage them with just normal combat. Okay, here we go. Ooh, this goblin looks a little more looks a little more equipped than than the illustration made him out to be. The monster lumbers forward. I mean, we did kind of walk into their room. You know, it's we can't act like we're the good guys. We cannot act like we're the good guys here because we're kind of like trespassing in this crazy mine. Okay, so I'm inclined to defend on the first round. Let's see what they do. They might swing. Oh yeah, they totally went for the swing. The goblin beats its club into its open palm and paces towards you. You raise your sword to cover your body. As he throws his club with full force towards your skull, you are mostly unhurt. He raises his club across his body defensively. Probably going for, I'm assuming going for a defensive strike. Let's do, they did a 4.9. That was like a pretty big attack. Let's defend. Let's see. He raises his club across his body defensively. I'm assuming they're going to defend this one. Let's defend again. Okay. You stay low. The goblin watches you. The goblin watches you stupidly in return. Smelling your fear, he stomps the ground with one enormous foot, growling. All right, they're probably preparing for an attack. A 4.9 was pretty heavy. Let's go for. Let's do a. They seem to be going for some pretty heavy swings here. Let's kind of go like full Monty here. Maybe we'll do like a 5.5. No. We'll do a 6.5. Yeah, okay. -3. We just half them. That's not bad. Stealing your courage, you move in, aiming to trap the goblin against the cave wall. Readying a forceful blow, you hurtle forwards as he swings for your head. He doubles over in pain. He lifts his club across his body. Probably going for another defensive move here. We can do, we can probably defend too. Okay. These descriptions are making this almost too easy. I'm wondering if, I mean, I don't think this is the most difficult enemy we could run into, but you drop down, protecting yourself. The goblin spits and waits. Might be doing another defensive move. Let's go with, let's see, okay, 6.8 is about as high as we can go. They don't seem to be swinging more than a 5, but I also don't want to get caught. The goblin spits and waits. Let's defend again. We can go for another large attack after this. Ooh. Okay. You stay down just in time. The goblin raises its club above its head and attempts to crush you in a single blow. You escape by a hair's breadth. You are largely unscathed. Pushing for an advantage, he paws the dust with one heel, preparing to swing. I think they're going pretty big. I can't imagine that they have a lot of firepower left here. Let's go big too. Let's go like let's do like a 6. Let's do a 7. Ooh. Taking a chance. You move forwards, preparing a heavy swing. You charge for your opponent. Then the goblin stumbles, and you have him. Your sword pierces right through his neck, and the club drops to the floor. 2 stamina lost. Competent combat. Okay. I didn't want to do it, but I guess I knew what I was getting myself into when I came into this, when I snuck into this mine. I'm probably not making it out of this mine alive. With the goblin defeated, there's nothing to stop you moving further on into the mine. I wonder if this was some kind of like station before like a larger office or like a coffer or something deeper into the mine. Let's search this room first. I feel like we got a little bit of time. We can keep going, but let's do a little search. Before you move on, you quickly score the corners of the dark room in case there is any gold or weapons lying around. You find nothing until you search the goblin himself. He was wearing a silver key on a chain around his neck. He lifted away. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, so they did have something on him. Time to see what more this mine has to offer. Further into the mine. Man, we are going deep. This goes right under the river. You open the door onto a pitch black passageway. Okay, we definitely have a spell for something like this. I know someone suggested that I should write these down, and I absolutely should. Going through the spell book. You know, if there was only a few spells, this would be a little bit more reasonable, but there's like more than just a few spells to go through, so let's see. I don't know if we have anything to light this way unless we cast the hot spell, but let's see. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so they kind of have like a quick list. The 6 most useful spells. We don't have a torch. I find that so strange. That we don't bring anything to light our path. I know there is a spell that will illuminate things, but I think we need some kind of sunstone. Let's see. I'm gonna double check. At least some of these spells that we can't use, it kind of blanks the name out. Okay, we don't have it. I think it would just be sun. Okay. Yeah, we got to get some torches. I feel like in this age, torch would be one of the first things you try to walk out of the camp with. All right, we're gonna try to, which it's a really bad idea, but we're gonna try to feel our way. We're gonna try to feel our way through the cave. This is kind of like where you end up dying, groped through the darkness. This is just got trouble written. You know, we're probably inside of some kind of. We're probably in the barracks, in the goblin barracks, and these goblins are just gonna fuck me up. Let's grope through the darkness. Okay. Grope through the darkness. This is where I regret my choices. Oh yeah, I can already tell from the you push on into the depths. I can already tell from these options at the bottom it's not good. You push on into the depths of the mine. Dust falls from the low ceiling. Your hand moves over the precarious wooden beams that hold the walls from tumbling in. Then you stumble, foot catching a support. The support cracks. A piece of rock the size of your head tumbles through a gap in the ceiling, narrowly missing your skull. A rain of stone and dust follows. Turn and run for the door. Push on ahead to avoid the falling rocks. I'm going to check the landscape here. I don't think there's an exit. Unless we come out of these caves here, it's perhaps where we're venturing towards. We seem to be in some kind of abandoned part of the mine. Maybe if we had taken a right earlier, we would have hit the more populated section. Probably would have run into more goblins. Turn and run for the door. Push on ahead to avoid the falling rocks. So it seems like if we keep going forward, we can avoid the rocks falling. I'm going to push on ahead. I mean, I've already committed, so you're gripped by an insane idea. Racing into the darkness of an unknown mine as the only exit is sealed off behind you. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. The crashing shaft behind you lends you speed. Really? Is that all it took to bring this whole section down? Then suddenly you gasp as your foot fails to touch the ground below you. You gotta give me a chance to cast a spell. You begin to drop. There can only be moments. Oh. Concentrate on landing well. I mean, that would technically make sense, assuming that the fall is not astronomically deep. Okay, hold on. I wanted to look at the spell book. Because I absolutely know there's a spell we can cast here. It's come on. I think it's just called Fall. It is, okay. F-A-L. Let me see what type of F it is. I made the mistake of thinking that there's a few letters that are major or minor case, so Fall. Okay, let's try Fall. Let's hope this works. Cast spell. There it is. That's the F I'm looking for. Give me the A. Give me the L. Float in air. Requires 1 stamina. Yeah, absolutely. You cast the spell and your fall is broken instantly. You float gently to the ground below, landing softly on your knees. Okay. I already wrote this down once, but I'm gonna make this a little more. I want to make sure I've got the case right. Protect from fall. I feel like if I was actually in this mine, I'd probably write this stuff down in my hand. And I'd also need I never would have gone in without a torch. All right, so the base of the pit. Let's keep going. Looks like we made some distance here. We're so not going to make it out of this mine. We're so donezo. You pick yourself up and look around. You're at the base of a deep shaft. It's hard to be sure how far you've fallen, but the top is lost in darkness. Still, it's not pitch black down here. A bit of light penetrates from somewhere far away. A crack nearby or a tunnel mouth a long way off. You cannot tell. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep walking. Calmly and without delay, you start to walk towards the point of light. It gets larger but slowly, and your hopes lift with every step. Okay. It's definitely a way out. You can see sky beyond. Your hands are running along the tunnel walls to keep you straight. Then the ceiling comes down, and you crawl for a few feet. Then you freeze. Your hand is resting on something furry. Something furry. Let's see. The ceiling comes down and you crawl for a few feet. Then you freeze. I mean, I can't imagine how, if we're crawling, it can't be very large. I don't know what something furry would be doing down inside of a cave like this. I don't know if we draw our sword. I feel like that'd probably be the most rational thing to do. Pull back, grasp it, let's draw our sword. Your first instinct is to reach for your sword, but crouching low in this tunnel, there's no space to wield it. You would get in your way. Let's try to creep past the thing. I'm not messing with this. With your heart in your mouth, you creep past the thing, pressing yourself against one side of the tunnel. Inch by inch, you make progress, hoping the thing will not be disturbed. It does not seem to notice your movement, and you manage to get past it. In fact, it hasn't moved at all. Perhaps it's dead. It's not making any noise. We're just going to leave it. Could be something dead. It's something I don't want to deal with. Or I got thrown down into the cave. But you aren't going to waste the advantage you've gained. Quickly you scramble back to your feet as the passage opens up and head for the crack. It's an opening. Okay, so we got out of the cave. I knew we were gonna get out of this part of the cave, because if we weren't, there was no there was no other way out. The climb out of the cave takes several hours, but it is worth every moment when you emerge into cool, fresh air once more. You have escaped with your life. You set off once more, looking for a path to get your bearings in the trees. I can't believe we went. I can't believe we went into this mine. We just like stuck like one dude down in there and just bounced and just caused nothing but mayhem. I don't think we're. I just don't think the playing this game. I get the feeling that we're not the good guys in this story. We just cause nothing but trouble everywhere we go. Oh boy. Okay. Let's go further on. End of the game is just going to be us revealed to be the villains. The path climbs again up a low hill, covered over with thick bushes and shrubs that snag at your clothing. Halfway up, you hear a sound. Twigs breaking. Okay. Man, everything's out here to kill me. Let's freeze. Might be a caravan. Oh, you freeze as a large creature the size of a bear, emerges directly in front of you. It has black and white fur and a long bushy tail that trails out behind. It growls menacingly. Oh man, I wonder if this is like, you know what? I wonder if the creature inside the cave must have been like one of its babies or something. And if we had taken it, we'd really be in trouble. Let's try to edge around it. Oh, no, it gives us a choice. Damn. Let me see something. I want to see if the tail was on one side of it. Okay, we're going to try we've been going to the left. We're going to try the right this time. Perhaps if you're careful, you can slip around it. Why are they giving me a choice which way to go? I should be able to just walk one way and just get out of here. Let's edge around to the right. Let's edge around to the right. Man, I wonder if I should eat this ration. Hold on, let me eat something. I'm gonna like eat some bread. It's like in this moment of peril, just eat something. Okay, edge around to the right. Oh no! You try and slip towards the bushes, but clearly something about you or what you carry attracts the beast's attention as it sniffs the air and then moves towards you, its sharp teeth on display. You will not be able to avoid a confrontation. The creature is a skunk bear, and when it raises its tail, it releases a nauseating odor. The smell that hangs around it is terrible. Oh, I do not want to fight this thing. I know it's the size of a bear, but it looks too cute. I'm inclined to cast the spell. Let's see. Let's check that spell book again. There might be something to keep these some kind of enemy off of me. Let's see what letters it gives us. It's usually a good clue on which spells we can cast. Going back into the magic zone. So we have K, L, N, S. Okay. Let's see. K, L, N, S. So it's gonna be. There's like two spells that can. Casting a spell at a non-intelligent attacking creature allows the caster to take control of the attacker's will for a short time. The attack will cease and the creature will immediately come under the. So L, I think L is one of them. Let's try Law. I think Law is where it's at. I wouldn't call this this creature unintelligent, but let's see. Let's try law. Just gonna write this down in case I survive this. It's gonna give me an A and a W. Okay, control creature. Now, let me check my my notes here before you try killing me. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm glad that worked. Law. You cast a spell and hold your hands in the air. You command the creature to stay where it is. It is not happy and bellows and snarls at you, but it does not move, and you are able to step easily around it. The path leads down through another valley and back up another hill. 2 hours pass. I was worried it was going to be another skunk bear. I did not have enough stamina to keep casting spells like this. Okay, let's go to Krista Tanti. See if we can go to like find someone to sell some more rations. The sun is now just past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You're worn out, almost to the point of physical collapse. You need food and rest, and no more trouble. Today has been too punishing already. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Another night sleeping out in the open would be best avoided, but then you see a small village set into the hill. Let's look at it. Smoke rises from the stacks. The houses are well set, with stone at their bases and thatched roofs of grasses and thick leaves. There is unusually more than just the one street running through the center of town. Okay, so it's like a well-established colony. But it is as though this place, once rich, has had its heart scooped away. Litter surrounds the buildings, and on the edge of the village are rows and rows of empty, abandoned houses. You continue your slow trudge along the path. No, we're going into the village. I think that's not unreasonable. You walk into the village. Young hill dwellers pass you and stare at your strange clothes. You nod back respectfully. Okay, let's look at the people. Their own attire is rough by comparison to your gear. They wear their hair long but piled up on their heads. These people are ghastly poor. The village is like a ghost town, here on the knife edge of the Bachlands. Do we go to the ale? We've been to this ale house before in a past run. Rest at the inn. Let's try let's go to the ale house. We got the gold from earlier from the sergeant. So we might as well just spend it. Walking down the single road, you quickly find a hut with its front covering pulled wide open and the smell of brewed beer coming from inside. You go in. Several hill dwellers are here, talking gruffly. When you enter, they watch you with understandable caution. This motley crew of totally disheveled hill dwellers. The owner of the hut comes over to you. Welcome to Kristatanti, he declares. What do you want? Let's greet the owner. An evening's rest and a drink to wet my mouth, you reply. Ale is 1 gold piece, he answers. Please sit. You go over to the table where the hill dwellers are. Let's we've been here before. We've sat with the oldest man before. Let's sit with the youngest man this time. You catch the young man's eye. He moves over to be right beside you, close enough to whisper in your ear, but you don't quite catch what he says. Let's see. I've gone through this sequence before. I think the young person's just crazy. Let's ask him to repeat it. The man giggles to himself unexpectedly, leaning in again so close you can smell the fumes on his breath. He declares, "Snaticats." Then he collapses in a fit of giggles once more. Whatever the joke is, you cannot see it. Let's ask them what they mean. The man nods twice, then drinks deeply from his beer to wet his throat. Or perhaps not, because as he puts the mug down once more, he says nothing, just fidgets with his fingers and occasionally grins in your direction. Do we ask them what's wrong with them? Or do we ask one of the other dwellers about this man? Let's ask one of the other dwellers about this man. Obviously, this person's had one too many drinks. You catch a woman's arm nearby. This is another. It's like I feel like the baseline end game event for any scenario is like everyone's gonna just try to kill you at the end of it if you just keep bothering people enough where they just get tired of you. I've been trying to come in and be eloquent. I've been trying to talk my way out of situations with people, but it is just not working. It's just not working. Everyone's trying to do me in. You catch a woman's arm nearby. What's wrong with this man? You demand. Oh, that's a terrible way to inquire about something ask a stranger something in a way to ask a stranger. She shrugs, slipping free of your grasp. Every village has one, she answers. Doesn't mean we're all like that. Good stock we are. And she flutters her eyelids. You get back to your feet. The young man giggles to himself, but does not attempt to stop you. Let's talk to the old man. You turn your attention to the oldest man at the table. Whatever face he once had is lost in a labyrinth of wrinkles, and his skin is the color of tanned hide from a lifetime in the beating sun. Let's greet the old man. He raises his mug in salute. Stranger, his face is gravelly, like the dusty dirt that lines the streets of his town. Where are you from? I'm going to try to be respectful here. I'm going to just tell him I'm coming from Annalyn. I shouldn't be telling him that, but we're doing it. He nods. Not many as cross through the Cantapani gate in either direction, if you know what I'm saying. I'm going to tell him I get it. Seems like the Cantapani gate seems rather well guarded. And it doesn't seem like people move around this land very much either. Even though the distance between these locations only seem to be like maybe a matter of like a day's travel. I understand you. He grins and picks his teeth with a fingernail. They say there is a war coming, something to do with a crown. I'm going to ask him what the crown... I know what the crown is, but I'm going to ask a question. I'm just going to say, I don't... Like, what... A crown? A crown, you ask cautiously. The crown of kings, he says. They say it's how a leader leads. Without the crown on your head, no one will follow you. The crown can raise an army from the farmyard or command a population to walk into the sea. He shakes his head. Sounds like a bad idea if you ask me, but if someone's got to wear it, I'd rather they were in Annalyn than Mampang. You sip your beer. The old man exchanges glances with the younger man sitting opposite. Let's keep talking to him. Let's ask him about the area. Can you tell me something about this region, you ask? Chrysotanti, certainly. I'll tell you that around here we're always glad to help out strangers. We have two options. The first option just says, tell me what lies beyond this town, which I think would be the most reasonable. I think that would be like the next line in the conversation, but the other choice says, I think you're a crazy old man. I don't know why. I don't know why which I'm going to ask him to tell me what lies beyond this town. Beyond Chrysotanti there are two paths, he says. One takes you past Aliana's home, and you will need your wits about you if she's there. The other leads up into the hills and Lia Key, domain of the Great Ones. Either way you choose, I wish you the luck of Sinla on your journey. Do we ask who Sinla is, or do we just thank them? I mean, Sinla is obviously some kind of god. Let's just thank them. I think we've already asked too much from this person. The man nods. Fat lot of good, my good wishes will do You, if someone tries to split your skull, he observes. The crowd in the end is starting to thin out. You finish your beer in a single gulp and get to your feet. You make to leave the inn. The owner stops you, holding out his hand. Let's pay him a gold piece. We didn't pay him last time, only because we didn't have any money. We went like 3, 4, 5 days traveling the land, totally broke with no rations, getting drinks from bars and not paying him, which just ends in fights anyways. You pay him his gold piece and step out into the street. You look this way and that, trying to decide what to do next, when you realize the old man has joined you once more. He grabs your shoulder and presses a fruit into your hand. Oh, that's cool. Bomba, he declares through fermented breath. I grow them myself. Good for the stomach. He pats your belly and walks away, swaying slightly. Uh, let's look at this Bomba fruit. You turn the old man's gift over in your hands. It is a thick rind fruit that keeps well and will be highly nourishing when you decide to eat it. Its only drawback is its incredible weight. It is now evening. It is now evening and time to sleep. All right, let's go. Let's go to the inn. I don't want to sleep outside. You stop a passerby and ask for an inn, and they lead you there directly. The woman who runs the place stands in the doorway with her arms folded. Are you from the king? She demands. Are you from the king? Oh, come on. I just want a place to sleep. I just want a place to sleep. Let's see. Are you from the king? She demands. I could probably say that I am. It seems like this town is not too unhappy with my presence. I want to say I am on a mission for the king. The other option is just to say that I'm a mere traveler, but maybe we can get this in for free. We can get into the inn without having to pay anything. I'm on a mission for the king. I am on a mission for the king, you reply. Taxes, she replies quickly. You have an option to say no, or you have an option to say indeed, yes. Like you're the tax person. I would not walk into a village like this asking anyone for money unless I plan to get served, and that not getting served in cash, getting my ass handed to me. Let's go. We're just gonna say no. Oh, okay. No, the woman. No, the woman narrows her eyes at you. This is a guest house, the best in Cristatanti. Only guests stay, and any guest of mine knows it costs me 3 gold pieces to host a traveler overnight, and 2 to feed them. But it's all between friends. And any guest of mine knows it costs me 3 gold pieces to host a traveler overnight, 2 to feed him. Okay. Um, man, that's pretty steep. I feel like the food would probably help though. Let's just eat. I need to eat first. Food is just being served. The woman steps aside and you go inside and sit down. A few minutes later, her husband appears with a steaming pot of skunk bear stew. Ooh, okay. I don't know how that would taste. As you eat, you can't help but remember the terrible smelling beast dead on the path, and the thought makes you gag. Still, you stomach the meal all the same and leave your coins on the table. Do you want a room as well? The woman asks. Um, I don't have enough money. I'm going to say thank you. I'll take it. I needed the stamina regen for sure. The woman shows you the way upstairs to a room. There are 3 other guests already staying and asleep, so you settle quickly. The bed is not clean, but it is comfortable, and after the long day and all its narrow escapes, you're grateful beyond measure for the rest. Okay. This run is going so much better than the first one was. We were, I feel like our stamina is actually increasing beyond the. You start the game with 20 stamina, but then the moment you walk outside the gate, there's some kind of like mist or smell in the Bachlands that weakens you. And it looks like we're max stamina is increasing, which is good. So it's obviously good to spend a few coins to sleep well. Otherwise, if you sleep outside, I'm not sure if your stamina even regenerates. Okay. The bed is not clean. Okay. Your dreams are vivid once again. You're walking endlessly, the hills moving up and down under your feet like a rippling sea. Every step exhausts you, but no step moves you forwards. Meanwhile, a tall creature strides towards you, wreathed in a foul-smelling smoke, and in the distance, a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long, cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown, and with the other, it beckons you forward, as if into a trap. Yeah, sounds like one. Okay. Let's see. Let's go on the outskirts here. You wake early and sit for a moment, in no great hurry to leave the village. This is now the third day of your journey, and the muscles in your legs are feeling lean and strong from so much walking. You spend a short while enjoying the peace, then unhurriedly collect your possessions and set off along the path. Cristante is surrounded by several miles of fields. It sits in a well-protected ring of hills and is close enough to the river to be reasonably prosperous. As you follow the path between lines of sun-baked crops, you come to a fork in the road. The right-hand way leads past a set of outbuildings, while the left heads directly off into deep woodland. Okay, we've taken the left path before. We've taken the left path and it's nothing but trouble. Everything everything to the left is trouble, except for Dumfus, which is just another village. This is trouble. The Madiki forest, trouble. This house, this big house that's almost as big as a quarter of one of these villages, absolute trouble. I don't want to go that way again. I'm going to take the I'm going to go between these looks like some kind of ruins, Liaki ruins. I can't remember what the elderly man mentioned about Liaki. I think they said they warned me something. They warned me about this location. Oh boy, let's see. Is there a way to? Okay, I'm gonna go that way anyway. If there's gonna be trouble, at least we can run into some new trouble. You glimpse a few people at work by the buildings. There will be precious little company on your journey, so you should take it while you can. Approaching a low wall, you see a blind beggar, sheltering in the shade with his hand held outstretched. He hears your approach and clicks his fingers. Alms, would you? For love of Sinla. Alms. Must be some kind of currency. I'll throw him a coin. I feel like... Or maybe they're not asking for coins. Let's look at it. Let's look at them. Let's see what this is. The man is a sorry sight. He is skinny and sparsely clothed, and his eyes are painted with a dark dye to indicate his blindness for all to see. We can ask what happened to them. Give him a coin, give him food. Let's ask him what happened to them. What happened to you? Red eyes, he answers, and won't say any more. I don't know what red eyes are. Maybe it's some kind of affliction. They're asking for a coin. We can give them food. We'll give them the coin. Let's see if they'll take it. You place a coin in his outstretched hand. "You are kind, traveler," the beggar says. He feels over the surface of the coin, then bites down on it. "Why me? This is a gold piece. You are too generous to a poor, sightless beggar. You'll get me killed if anyone knows that I have it." The beggar beams up at you. These options here in response, or look after yourself. I feel like that would be the right thing to say. But then the other option says it won't last. It won't last. I'm just gonna say look after yourself. Our character has this like very pessimistic side to them. Look after yourself. You say, preparing to walk away. Wait, he calls. One moment, please. He begins to scrabble around, feeling over his body as if looking for holes. Eventually he cries, aha, and pulls out a copper key, which he holds out to you. We have the option to take it, or we have the option to ask, what is that? Let's ask him what that is. What is that, you ask cautiously. Years ago, I lived in Kar, he explains. Kar was my home, and in the city port I watched over prisoners in the dungeon. Beware the red eyes in Kar, or my fate will befall you, and you'll be here with me, begging for your living. What are the red eyes? Thank you for the advice, but what is the key? Let's ask him what the... I feel like... We'll take the key. I don't want to... The red eyes... Let's ask him what the red eyes are. Pray you never find out, is his simple reply. I knew they were never going to go to get too descriptive with it. Listen to me. Kar is wary of strangers, but this key will help you if you be captured by the red eyes. Okay, so the red eyes seem to be some kind of... I thought it was some kind of maybe some kind of disease, but it seems to be like a crew, like maybe a gang or something. Maybe they're like there's some kind of elite guard that works for the city. Trust old me. As the man talks, you step quickly out of the road. As an ox cart whips past you, raising dust. It does not stop. Let's take the key. Might come in handy. You take the key and put it safely into your pack. Thank you, you say, then move on. You follow the path away from the village for half the morning. The walk is easy. It feels as natural as breathing to have the road move beneath your feet. Hard to believe you trained for this journey so long, now that you are on it. You climb a little, tracing the side of a group of trees until you meet a fork in the road. You could continue straight on and upwards or turn west a while. Let's see what that entails. I feel like I want to go through this town. Otherwise we're going to cut through this forest. I guess this is like another option to try to travel back down south. Let's just keep going straight through. You continue along the path, climbing. Your legs feel strong and lean. By the end of this journey, you'll be built like a mountain goat. The afternoon progresses, long and easy. This place you are walking through seems thick with desolation, as if it was long ago abandoned. And then, as if to confirm your thought, you come across two enormous stone pillars, listing slightly either side of the road. They form a gate, but the gate is 3 times the height of a man. Let's look them over. Peering closely, you make out the faded remains of carved characters. In the old script, L and K, the remnants of a spell of fortune perhaps, or of binding for these now fallen stones. So it's giving us 2 options to either go back and go the other way or go through. I'm not seeing anything written here for L and K spell wise, but I'm sure the further we go we're going to probably find out. There's nothing for it but to go forwards. Okay, so we're moving into some kind of ruins here. And then there seems to be some kind of 2 buildings. Also a cave here. I'm probably getting myself into some serious trouble. Like with any choice we make in this game. Everything's trouble. Everything is absolute trouble. You step into the shadow of the enormous gate. The ruins of walls line the path either side, but these are walls built from blocks the size of ox carts. Centuries ago, this must have been a palace of a king, 12 feet tall. Now it has been leveled, and the stones stolen for the field walls and foundations of the villages all around. Oh, we got an option to investigate the ruins. You know me, when given the option, I mean, if we keep going, I feel like it's too easy. Investigate the ruins there has to be something in these ruins. Let's investigate the ruins. If it starts getting too sticky, we'll bounce. You take a moment to clamber out over the ruins and off the path until you are surrounded by waist-high grasses. The ground rises and falls sharply around the outlines of houses and buildings. You trace the line of a street wide enough to run 3 carts abreast that leads quickly downhill towards a forest. Once this place was rich and plentiful, what happened here to remove every last trace of these colossal people? Let's try to look inside a house. We can follow the street, we can go back to the path, but let's try to look inside of a house. Let's see if that gives us any clues. You stop by the edge of a house. The side wall only stands as high as your knees. Grass nods above it. Looking inside, you can make out the edges of the fireplace, the back wall, and an adjoining area, perhaps a grain store or a bedroom. Search in the grass. Let's follow the street down. You follow the line of the street down the slope of the hill. The further you go from the path, the more overgrown the ruins become, until you can barely make out their outlines at all. After a while, you are not following the street at all, but simply holding to the same line. You approach the edge of a thick woodland. Oh, I see. Edge of the tree line. Seems like that's the, once again, giving us the one last option to go west. Let's turn back and climb. I want to go up through these, through the mountains here. The path crosses over a low, broken wall and then rises sharply uphill through a pass. After a while, you see 2 cave mouths, one to the left of the path and another to the right. Oh, this is trouble. Always with the right or left options. I don't know if we should just pass these, maybe. I wasn't expecting to go into any caves. I was kind of more interested in what these 2 towers over here were. Ooh. The left-hand cave or the right-hand cave? Let's check the left-hand cave. If this doesn't work, we're making a U-turn and we're carrying on. The left-hand cave is a little wider at its mouth, but it is also not deep and appears to be empty. Rubble covers the floor along with a few items that suggest someone lived here. A huge broken stool, a net with a wide mesh, and a large human-shaped skull the size of a dog. And a large human-shaped skull the size of a dog. This place is clearly home to a giant. Oh, wow. What kind of dog are they talking about? There's different types. Dogs come in all different kinds of sizes. A large human-shaped skull the size of a dog. Okay. Ooh. Let's investigate. Let's investigate. We can leave. Let's investigate. I don't know why. I don't know what we're gonna find. Still, by the look of the skull, it seems the giant is long gone, so it should be safe to look around. Look at the stool. Look at the skull. Look at the net. Let's look at the stool. How big is the stool? You pick up the stool. It's made from the lower branches of an ash tree, braced together with joint pins the size of your forearm. And before the stool broke, you could probably have borne the weight of several cattle. Ooh, that was a big stool. but it's broken now and of no use to you. There's no way you could carry it far. Why would it give us the option to take the stool if that's the case? Maybe let's try to take the stool. Maybe there's something around here that we could use it to climb up to, assuming that this was a giant's cave. You heft up the stool, who knows, but it might prove to be important. Let's look at the skull. Next, you turn your attention to the giant's skull. There's no trace of flesh remaining on the bone, and the eye sockets are dull and empty. No one has lived in here for a long time. The top of the skull has been knocked about a bit. There's a crack in the top, and most of the teeth are missing. Ooh. Let's examine the teeth. We can probably take a tooth. There are only 2 teeth left in the jaw. Let's take one of the teeth. I think we have a spell actually to spawn a giant. Let's double check real quick. Yeah, casting the spell requires the tooth of a giant, and when cast will summon a new giant whom the caster may control. Giant will then disappear when his duty is done. Okay, let's take a giant tooth. Giant's tooth. Pry the teeth loose. Use the tip of your sword to pry a couple of giant's teeth free. A couple of them, that's good. And you slip them into your pack. Let's look at the net. Finally, you look at the net. The squares are so large that a rabbit or deer would be able to run straight through. Wow, that's pretty big. But they're small enough that they could catch an animal of about your size. Ooh. Of course, you'd cut your way out of such a trap in a moment. That's strange. I wonder what we could use the net for. Let's take the net. You roll the net up and put it in your pack. Okay, let's leave. You've seen enough. You turn to leave the cave, but you've almost collapsed under the weight of the stool already. You put it down again. Probably had some kind of option to use the stool for something, but it's fine. I'm not going into the right cave. I feel like I've walked away from the left cave without anything bad happening. I think we're going to just carry on. Unless there's like another giant living in the other cave who's still around. You crest the rise and continue down the slope on the other side. You pass out through another gigantic gate and into a barren mountainside. Okay, so these two were just gates. Alright, we're approaching Dumfus. The path trips and slides down a steep scree slope, but then emerges onto a sudden plain, as if the forest had been scooped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grasses by its banks. By short grasses and by its banks stands a tiny village. Alright, we're going to go into Dumfus, and I think that's about as far as I'm going to go today. So we can, make the village kind of a checkpoint for our next adventure. But I think we had a pretty good run so far. Let's enter the village here just to I think save the game so far. But we made it almost from the beginning of the game near Cantapani, went through some goblin mine, through Cristatanti, through the ruins, and around this ridge, this mountain pass that's near the ruins of Leoki. So I think that was a pretty good run. I think I managed my choices pretty well. I think last video I know actually that I dead-ended myself pretty early on, so I'm trying to make some more rational choices going forward. But so far this is cool. I'm having fun playing this game. It's kind of a nice break. little bit slower, a lot of narration that I enjoy reading, and I'm interested to see kind of how far we can get. I know the end of this should end in car, which I haven't gotten to before. So, like always, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you've had a really good week. I will be. I'm planning on streaming Sunday, probably around 8 or 9 o'clock. I'll do my best to keep everyone updated on that. I have a Discord channel that I've pretty much set up completely. I need to just test a few more things out, but I'll roll that out this week for everyone to join, and that'll also be a place where we can communicate better and schedule stuff. So until then, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you soon. Be safe.